Papers, Please is a simple game in which we were unlucky enough to win the lottery, and now we have to work as a border guard. Which might seem odd, but it's a local custom, so don't worry about it. Our first day here at the new Greston border checkpoint should be simple enough. Only let the Arstotzkan citizens in, because no others are actually worthy of entering our great nation. Quick look at the paper and the rulebook, and we are ready to start the day with this woman, and since she's Arstotzkan, she can go right in, no questions asked. This man, on the other hand, not very Arstotzkan, seeming very Emporian, and he's not allowed in, so he's gotta go. Because, as you can see by this handy map, Impor is not Arstotzka. It's an easy mistake to make, I understand that, but it's a pretty important one. Since this is of course the tutorial stage, literally the only way to fail and get a citation would be to misclick and accidentally reject someone who's an Arstotzkan citizen. At the end of each day, we have the important task of budgeting our very, very meager salary. So does my family deserve heat, food, medicine? Well, we'll see. Depends on the day. Alright, day 2, and now we can start accepting foreigners, but that's only because we did such a good job yesterday. And there's no issues with the first traveler of the day, but our second entry, not as lucky. Thinks he can just enter with an expired passport. Then there was this rude lady who I debated denying just for her attitude, but that wouldn't be very nice of me as a border guard, so we let her off with a warning and we let her through. After that comes our government-mandated 30-minute break. Oh, nope, never mind. She opened the gate, it is back to work. She left us this little, business card, which we're gonna have to deny, because I am happily married with a wife and a child. And that was the last person for the day, because right after that, this gentleman here decided to jump the wall, and since our security guard has terrible aim, he is, dead now. Rest in peace to him. But due to this terror attack, we have new regulations, so now every foreigner needs an entry ticket. Which, as you can see, pretty simple, nothing too difficult. I went to college, so I'm more than capable of understanding this. After rejecting this guy, trying to enter on the wrong day, we met this guy right here, who apparently didn't realize that he needs a passport to get into Arstotzka. So, he'll be back later though. The rest of the day was easy, no mistakes to speak of, and we are on to day 4, where now our glorious citizens need to show an ID card, and everybody else needs to show an entry permit. And once again, as you can see, simple enough document, but a lot of info to take care of, so we'll need to be a little careful. We got to reject this guy, because he came in without a permit, and this woman, because she came in without a passport, and then we met this guy, Adrian, who just wanted to see her son, but didn't have an entry permit. No, wait, had an expired entry permit. Against my better judgment, I decided to just let her in, and I was rewarded with this little token. Yeah, it doesn't actually do anything, but it's cool to have, you know? And next up is this guy, Georgie. That's right, he's back, and this time with his legitimate Copistinian passport. I know it's pre-approved, but unfortunately I'm not licensed to allow Copistinians, so we're gonna have to reject him and move on to the next day, where now we can detain any suspicious individuals. And the first person on the list is Vince Lestrade, or Lestrade.
Lestrade.
I don't know, it doesn't matter, because here he is. And maybe he was framed, maybe he wasn't, but that's not up to me to decide. We can't risk letting him in, so we're gonna have to detain him. And later on we met this guy, who was cleared for entry, but of course, he mentioned that his wife was right behind him, who, as you can imagine, wasn't good to enter. But I already had one citation, so that meant I had one left without getting fined, and I was feeling generous, so I decided to let her in. And what was our reward? Another token. Now, we've been doing such a good job, the government decided to let us get an upgrade for our booth. It's kinda weird that we have to pay for it. Now, foreigners need work permits, and as per usual, the first person in line had one and was cleared for entry. Unfortunately for me, I accidentally clipped the very edge of the passport with the rejection, and despite then clicking to approve it again, she still took that as rejection, and I got a citation for that. On the first person of the day, but no time to worry about that, because next up was a man who was worried for his sister's safety. We had to reject him, but we'll keep an eye on the brothel owner, and when he comes through, we might look into rejecting him as well. Then got Georgie back again. Good passport this time, don't know where he got it, but no entry permit. And I just decided to let him in just because I like the guy. And I was rewarded with another token. And here's the brothel owner. I decided to eject him because we don't like his type here in Arstotzka. And then the day ended early thanks to yet another terrorist attack. And after reading about this sad news in the papers, we were given the ability, the duty to search any and all collections. Starting with this woman right here, who did manage to pass this random search. This guy on the other hand, trying to transport something. I think they're drugs, but I can't really tell, so... Anyway, we detained him and moved on to the next day, where we were told we could no longer search collections. Unsurprisingly, they figured out that they were not random searches, and they were not very happy with them. So after letting in one of their diplomats, we met him, a member of EZIC, the shadowy organization that we know nothing about besides one name. After rudely assuming this woman's gender and meeting Komandrex, we bought yet another booth upgrade and met the man, the myth, the legend himself, Kalensk, who offered us a bonus for every 2 people that we detained. And this was a deal I was all too happy to take. After this, a man gave us a fake report on the mating habits of lesser collection waterfowl and warned us that a fake government agent was going to follow him for it. Since identity theft is not okay, I gave him the false documents and was rewarded with a little bit of pocket change. We then met another guy named Komandrex, who told us the story of EZIC and gave us a coded document. Since the government clearly can do no wrong, they must be lying, so I'm not going to trust them. Next up, a visit from our boss, the overseer of East Greston operations, who applauded us for such a phenomenal job, and even gave us a little plaque to hang on the wall. With these odd events over, it was back to business, and we found quite a few people to detain, including this woman who refused to accept her rejection. Once again, stonewalling our EZIC benefactors, we were forced to fingerprint this diplomat, and I mean, look at this picture. Tell me that's him, come on, can you blame me? Surprisingly enough, it actually was him. We finished the day with just a couple citations. New rule once again, now we have to check for forged seals, which is going to be quite annoying. But as we can see with this lady, if we can catch them, we can detain them, which just means more money. Next up was a simple rejection. Oh, actually, never mind. It was an intentional rejection of one of the EZIC members, who then came back to yell at me later on. And then they had the audacity to try and bribe me. Me. I am unbribable and dedicated. Well, maybe I can be bribed, but not by these people. I rejected the bribe, bought another booth upgrade, and was accosted by Mr. M. Vonel himself, wanting to know if I knew about EZIC, but since I'm doing such a good job in keeping them out of Arstotzka, I didn't tell him. I didn't want to worry him. Other than this engineer offering to pay me to give out business codes, nothing really happened today. Oh, unless you include the terrorist attack that ended the day early, because, I mean, that happened, but other than that, pretty easy day. And due to the numerous terrorists getting in, which is not my fault, owners now also need ID supplements, so now I have to check the height, the weight, and a unique physical feature. Nothing too hard. And it already came in handy, prompting me to search for this woman who was trying to bring weapons across the border. Shortly after this, a guy named Felipe offered me his pennant to let him in, which I accepted because I'm a fan of their soccer team, you know, what can I say? This woman got denied for not having a passport, and then after a very thorough check, I ended the day by allowing this woman to visit the glorious nation of Arstotzka. And with this day over, it's time for my government-mandated 1-week vacation. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.